I bought this pound shop pan European for a grand total of £623, and now I want to fix it up and take it on a big European tour. But only if it was that easy. The pan is crash damaged and the damage is a lot worse than I initially thought. Aside from the cosmetic issues, underneath here, under the top fairing, is a metal subframe, and by the look of this mirror, it's been bent out of shape. The other thing which gives me a little bit of cause for concern is when I turn the handlebars, they're now rubbing, so I think this whole top structure has been shunted across when the bike fell on its right hand side. Right, I've got a package. Let's just open this up and I'll show you what is inside. This is a front subframe that mounts the screen and the indicators and the front fairing for an ST1100. Now, this, like all ST parts, was quite inexpensive at £16.50. Which I thought was quite good for a whole new subframe. On some bikes that would cost an absolute fortune. Before this goes on the bike, I'm just going to quickly treat it with a degreasing agent, and then I'm going to treat it for rust, so that when it goes on the bike it's in its best possible condition. Alright, first I'm going to remove the windscreen, just see if I can access some of the panels underneath here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Phillips screws. Being very careful not to drop this irreplaceable mirror. And now you've got a bolt here, an Allen bolt here, and a bolt there. And I'm hopeful that they are the major bolts that allow this side of the fairing to come off. This will be a miracle if it all goes back together, because there's so many bolts. I'm used to Triumphs where there's a belly pan, 1, 2, 3 Allen, a middle fairing, 1, 2, 3 Allen, a top fairing, and a windscreen. This is a different ball game in terms of how it's put together. It's honestly Honda engineering. I have to doff my cap to them. But yeah, everything needs to be greased when it goes back on. Just does not want to come apart. Right, we can finally start seeing the damage to the front subframe. So there's a crack down here where it's bent inwards, and then this mirror plate is bent, and it's also, as soon as I removed the fairing, it just fell onto the floor. So that's sheared off, so this whole thing has to come out. But I've never had such an intricate build on a bike before with this subframe as the Honda. Everything is like so over-engineered. Right, we're almost at the point now where I can see where the subframe unbolts, but I'm just going to go around now, and wherever there's a mounting point or a screw or something, I'm just going to WD-40 it, because a lot of this stuff is rusty, and it only takes one rusty bolt and this whole thing won't work. Right, so new day, new start. We're going to now finally take the speedo off, remove this subframe. This radiator hose I'm just going to clip for now. Right. And there is the old subframe removed. So let's play a bit of spot the difference. This is the old, this is the new. Some of the mounting points on the old one aren't present on the new one, and vice versa. Things are slightly different on the new subframe. So we're going to fit it and just hope everything can be matched up. Right, let's have a little price update, what we spent on the pan so far. Now, I wouldn't normally do this, but I'm going to do it for comic effect because it's YouTube. I've been throwing money away. Have I been throwing money away? I probably have been throwing money away. Side inspection panel, price £11. Bottommost fairing, price £22. Side trim piece, expensive at £25. Crash bar replaced, price £13.25. That is a bargain. Full subframe, I mean admittedly mine was a bit ropey, but that cost £16.50. Ooh, that one hurt. Finally, the most expensive panel we've replaced so far is the upper fairing at £40. I actually feel really bad doing that. I'm going to go now and carefully pick up the pieces and collect them. Right, so we talked a little bit about the cost of the pan, and I want to touch on that briefly because this isn't an open checkbook project. And normally when I do things up, I like to have everything, all the details, everything in place. I like to have all the trim pieces, every Allen correct. I just got to let go of that for this project because, as many of you have said, it's not worth piling money into the pan. We're already probably about £850. You've probably spent near 200 quid on parts. This bike is Cat N. It's not going to be worth £1,000. It's going to be hard to sell it for £1,000. So we've got to save money where we can. For example, this dash piece, and I'll show you some B-roll of that, is cracked where the bike fell. I'm not going to replace it because we'd have to spend £50. I'm just not going to do it. Inside here we've used cable ties. There's a crack at the rear fairing at the back. It's not noticeable, we're going to leave it. Now, other ways we can save money, for example, the mirrors. Now, the subframe is in place, so my mirrors are in the correct position. However, one of them on the right hand side is missing the mirror glass. I can't really afford to spend 150 quid to get a mirror sent from Lithuania or wherever the one rare mirror in the entire of Europe is. So what we're going to do is just use mirrored acrylic. Now I know the downsides. It won't last the test of time probably. It's not convex. Is it convex or concave? So it won't be as good a view. But if that just sits in there in the little in the mirror pocket, that'll do for now. And then if I do see a mirror come up that's affordable, we can replace it in due course. This little sample was 99p and the full piece they're sending is £5.99 delivered. So £5.99 compared to £150 is a no-brainer really. We're going for that. Now, the one thing I did have to spend money on was the mirror covers, which are an integral part of the look of the pan. So you basically have this item here that sits on the side of the top fairing. It's got little push rivets. You put your indicator inside this housing and the mirror sits just behind here. It's a really neat little system. Now, to not have that would trigger my OCD too much. So we are going to have to buy these and paint them up. With this mirror housing, it was expensive, £45 each, which is quite a lot of our budget, but I can't ride a pan-European around that doesn't have any mirrors and doesn't have any indicators for that matter, because it's just dangerous, isn't it? So I saw these, I jumped on them, even though they're the wrong colour, because we need them and they complete the look of the bike. What I'm going to do with spray painting them now, I'm going to talk to you about the spray paint. I'm going for an approximation. I went into Halfords and I bought grey primer and Halfords metallic red, and it's M4090. I just looked at the colours. If anything, this is a little bit too red, this is a little bit more purple, but it doesn't really matter that much on a bike that's worth £800. Now people will say, oh, you should have just gone online and had them make up the correct paint code for you. Well, number one, it won't actually match 30-year-old paint. So really I'm going for a rattle can that doesn't match. I'd have paint made up that probably wouldn't match either. And number two, you find when they make up factory OEM manufacturer paints, they don't really go well in rattle cans. It's almost as if they were made for a spray gun. It doesn't aerosol very well. Plus, when you go into Halfords, these are kind of enthusiast grade paints. I could spray this and it would have a little bit of priming ability, a little bit of base, and it has a little bit of lacquer, a little bit of protective. But if you buy the the 2K paints, you have to perfectly prepare the surface. You have to prime it perfectly. It's not really as forgiving, whereas the rattle can from Halfords aerosols well, sticks well, but it's just like an easier option for an enthusiast. We're going for a bit of a match. I don't know what it'll turn out like, but it's better than blue, isn't it?